That lady ain't got no jail time. No jail time, Alec. No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
We're turning now to developments in the Rust film set shooting investigation. The FBI finding that the gun held by Alec Baldwin could not have been fired without someone pulling the trigger.
Like, either you think he purposely shot that cinematographer, or you think he didn't purposely shoot her.
Armorer is 90, the guy who handles the gun. Then armorer is 90% responsible for everything that happens when it comes to that gun. But, the actor is 10% responsible. If he went through the steps that he's supposed to go through, then they show you that the barrel is clear.
Oh, I asked you a question.
I'm in Hollywood.
Is that your answer? Is that your answer?
You ask stupid questions.
Do you condemn?
Ask me a spot.
What role did Hilaria Baldwin play in emotionally supporting Alec Baldwin through the aftermath of the Rust shooting? And how did her public statements shape the narrative surrounding the incident? Alec Baldwin was born in Amityville, New York on April 3, 1958, into a large Irish-American Catholic family. His parents, Carol and Alexander Baldwin, raised their children with strong family values. Alec is the eldest of 6 siblings, and his brothers Stephen, Daniel, and William are also well-known actors. Growing up, Baldwin displayed an interest in sports, but it was his early exposure to literature and drama in school that piqued his interest in acting. His family was not wealthy, and Baldwin often speaks about how these modest beginnings shaped his work ethic and approach to life. His upbringing in a tight-knit, hard-working family laid the foundation for his later success. Baldwin's interest in acting grew during his college years at George Washington University, where he originally studied political science. However, it wasn't long before he shifted focus, transferring to New York University's Tisch School of the Arts to pursue acting professionally. This decision marked the start of a career that would span over 4 decades. At New York University, Baldwin studied under legendary acting teacher Lee Strasberg, who was known for his emphasis on method acting. This rigorous training helped Baldwin hone his craft, and he graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. His education provided him with a solid foundation in theater, preparing him for both stage and screen roles. Baldwin's first major break came when he joined the cast of the popular television soap opera, The Doctors, in 1980. This early role allowed Baldwin to gain experience and build connections in the industry. By the mid-1980s, he was regularly landing television roles, including a prominent role in the primetime soap opera Knots Landing. His transition from television to film was seamless, as his good looks, commanding presence, and strong acting skills made him a natural fit for big-screen roles. Baldwin's film debut came in 1987 with a small role in Forever Lulu, but it wasn't until his performances in films like Beetlejuice, 1988, and Working Girl, 1988, that he began to gain widespread recognition. Baldwin's breakout moment came in 1990 with The Hunt for Red October, where he portrayed CIA analyst Jack Ryan. The movie was a box office hit, and Baldwin's performance was praised for its intelligence and charisma. His portrayal of Jack Ryan became iconic, though he opted not to return for the role in future sequels. During the 1990s, Baldwin balanced mainstream success with critically acclaimed roles in more serious films, including Glengarry Glen Ross, 1992, based on David Mamet's play, and The Cooler, 2003, which earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Baldwin also ventured into theater, receiving widespread acclaim for his stage work, including a Tony-nominated performance in A Streetcar Named Desire in 1992. His ability to move between film, television, and stage made him one of the most versatile actors of his generation. In 1993, Baldwin married actress Kim Basinger, whom he met on the set of The Marrying Man, 1991. The couple became one of Hollywood's most glamorous pairs, but their marriage was tumultuous and eventually ended in a highly publicized divorce in 2002. Their split was marked by a lengthy custody battle over their daughter, Alec Baldwin. It wasn't until 2011 that Baldwin met Hilaria Thomas, a yoga instructor from Boston, whom he would later marry in 2012. Hilaria would become a key figure in Baldwin's personal life, particularly during the tumultuous times ahead. Hilaria Baldwin's background. Hilaria Baldwin, born Hilaria Thomas, grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, though her heritage has often been a subject of curiosity. With Spanish ancestry from her mother's side, she was exposed to both American and Spanish cultures from an early age. She developed a passion for dance and movement from a young age, later training professionally as a dancer. This early love for physical activity would evolve into a lifelong career in wellness. Hilaria pursued her passion for wellness and yoga through formal education. She studied at New York University, where she developed a deeper understanding of health and fitness. After completing her studies, she built a career as a yoga instructor and wellness expert, becoming well known for her work in New York City. She co-founded the Yoga Vita Studio, which quickly became a popular destination for yoga enthusiasts in Manhattan. In June 2012, Alec and Hilaria married in a high-profile ceremony at St. Patrick's Old Cathedral in New York City. The wedding was a significant event for the couple, symbolizing a new beginning for Alec and marking the start of a new chapter in Hilaria's life as she transitioned into the public spotlight as Alec Baldwin's wife. The couple would go on to have 6 children together, creating a large and busy family life. As Alec Baldwin's wife, Hilaria has often been in the public eye. With her presence on social media and public appearances, she has been an outspoken advocate for wellness and family balance. Hilaria often shares insights into her personal life, including her experiences with motherhood, parenting multiple children, and the challenges of balancing family with public life. Despite being a celebrity couple, the Baldwins have always emphasized the importance of maintaining a private and grounded family environment. As her marriage to Alec brought her into the public eye, Hilaria became a prominent social media figure, frequently sharing moments from her family life on Instagram and interacting with her followers on topics ranging from fitness and health to parenting. She authored a wellness book, The Living Clearly Method, in which she outlined her philosophy on mindfulness, movement, and maintaining balance in a busy life. Her candid posts and engagement with followers garnered her a sizable following, but also invited scrutiny. Hilaria has faced her share of controversies, including a high-profile debate over her cultural identity in 2020, where questions were raised about her Spanish heritage and the authenticity of her accent. Throughout these media controversies, Alec Baldwin consistently defended his wife, and Hilaria publicly addressed the issue, clarifying her background and heritage. The couple's handling of public controversies became a testament to their strong bond and support for one another during difficult times. Beyond the public eye, Hilaria has been an essential figure in Alec Baldwin's personal life. Her role in his life has been more than just as a partner, but as a stabilizing influence, especially during stressful times. Whether it's managing their large family or helping Alec maintain a balanced lifestyle, amid his busy career, Hilaria's presence has been key to Alec's ability to manage the highs and lows of his career. The Rust movie background. Rust was a Western film set in the 1880s and was intended to tell the story of a teenage boy and his outlaw grandfather. Alec Baldwin was both the lead actor and one of the producers, which placed him in a dual role of both creative and operational responsibility. The movie was filmed in New Mexico, a state often used for Westerns because of its vast landscapes and rugged terrain. The film's director, Joel Souza, envisioned Rust as a gritty, emotional narrative with a focus on complex characters. Baldwin's character, Harlan Rust, is a notorious outlaw who embarks on a dangerous journey to help his estranged grandson evade the law. The film aimed to capture the rawness and emotional depth of Western classics, combining tense drama with action-packed sequences. The Rust production team consisted of a blend of seasoned professionals and newcomers. The budget was modest compared to many Hollywood productions, which meant that the team had to work efficiently with fewer resources. Despite the film's challenging production schedule, the atmosphere on set was described as collaborative and creatively charged. Alec Baldwin, as both an actor and producer, was highly involved in the decision-making process. His extensive experience in the film industry brought a level of professionalism that helped guide the project, though this dual role also placed additional stress on him during the production. One of the challenges on the Rust set was ensuring the safety of the actors and crew during scenes involving firearms and stunts. Like many Westerns, Rust featured numerous action sequences that required careful choreography and the use of prop guns. Safety measures were in place, but with a limited budget and the fast-paced nature of filming, there were concerns about the handling of props, particularly firearms. The use of real firearms with blanks or dummy rounds is common in many movie productions, but it requires meticulous safety protocols to ensure that all weapons are checked before each use. On the Rust set, there was a prop master and armorer whose responsibility was to oversee the handling of these firearms. The day of the fatal incident on October 21st, 2021, was supposed to be a routine day of filming. Baldwin was rehearsing a scene in which his character draws a revolver, a standard action for Western films. The firearm had been declared safe by the armorer and assistant director, who reportedly handed it to Baldwin, announcing it was a cold gun, meaning it was not loaded with live ammunition. However, during the rehearsal, the gun discharged. The bullet struck cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, who was standing behind the camera, and then hit director Joel Souza, who was injured but survived. Hutchins was tragically pronounced dead shortly after being airlifted to the hospital. The set was immediately shut down, and authorities began investigating how live ammunition had ended up in a prop gun that was supposed to contain only dummy rounds. Baldwin, visibly distraught, cooperated fully with investigators, and the production team suspended all filming indefinitely. In the days following the incident, questions arose about the safety measures on set, the experience of the armorer, and whether the production's tight budget had played a role in compromising the film's safety standards. Baldwin, devastated by the incident, expressed deep sorrow for the loss of Hutchins and vowed to assist in the investigation. The tragic incident. On October 21st, 2021, the Rust production team was filming at Bonanza Creek Ranch in New Mexico. That morning, rehearsals were underway for a pivotal scene in which Alec Baldwin's character was preparing to draw his gun. The crew had already prepared for this shot, setting up cameras and ensuring that safety protocols were being followed. However, the atmosphere on set that day was tense, with concerns among the crew about safety standards, long working hours, and alleged mismanagement. On most film sets, prop guns are rigorously inspected and handled by experienced armorers to ensure they contain only blanks or dummy rounds. Before handing a firearm to an actor, it must be checked by the prop master or armorer, who then confirms to the cast and crew that it is safe to use. This protocol was followed, with the assistant director handing Baldwin a gun and declaring it a cold gun, which should have meant it was not loaded with live ammunition. However, during the rehearsal, as Baldwin practiced his draw, the gun unexpectedly discharged. The live round struck Halyna Hutchins, the cinematographer, in the chest, passing through and injuring Joel Souza, the director. Hutchins was standing behind the camera, framing the shot when she was hit. Chaos erupted on set as the crew rushed to aid Hutchins and Souza. Emergency services were called, and Hutchins was airlifted to a nearby hospital, where she tragically succumbed to her injuries. Souza survived his injuries, but required medical treatment. Alec Baldwin, visibly shaken, remained on set as law enforcement began investigating the shooting. He fully cooperated with the police, answering their questions and providing information on what had transpired. The production was immediately halted, and grief rippled through the cast and crew. The incident shocked the entertainment world, raising immediate concerns about on-set safety and firearm protocols in Hollywood. The accident sparked widespread discussions about the use of real firearms in film productions, with many calling for reform to ensure such tragedies would never happen again. Baldwin, devastated by the tragedy, made a public statement expressing his sorrow over Hutchins' death and offering his condolences to her family. He also vowed to cooperate fully with the investigation, although the incident weighed heavily on his personal and professional life. Hutchins' death sent shockwaves through the film community, with many high-profile actors, directors, and industry professionals offering their support and calling for changes to safety procedures on film sets. In the days following the shooting, investigators focused on how live ammunition ended up in a gun meant to be loaded with blanks or dummies. They began interviewing crew members, including the armorer and assistant director, to understand how this critical safety lapse occurred. Questions were raised about the experience of the armorer and whether budget constraints on the production had compromised safety standards. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office launched an official investigation, examining every detail of the gun's handling, the chain of custody, and the protocols that were or were not followed. Industry-wide, the incident prompted a reevaluation of prop gun use, with some advocating for the complete ban of real firearms on sets, instead suggesting the use of CGI for gunfire scenes. Alec Baldwin was not initially charged with any crime, as it remained unclear whether the shooting resulted from negligence or a deeper systemic failure on set. However, the investigation continued to unfold, with potential lawsuits and legal ramifications for both Baldwin as a producer and the production team. Several crew members came forward, highlighting the chaotic nature of the set and raising concerns about working conditions and the pressure to cut corners on safety. The investigation faced significant public scrutiny, with media outlets closely following every update. The legal process was expected to take months, if not years, with various parties involved in determining culpability. Baldwin's role as a producer on the film meant that he was not only involved in the accident as an actor, but also held potential responsibility for the safety standards on set. Legal implications and initial reactions. The legal fallout from the Rush shooting was immediate and complex. Authorities launched a formal investigation into how a live round had been used on set, and multiple parties were examined for potential negligence. While Baldwin was deeply involved in the accident, he was also facing potential legal consequences in his role as a producer of the film, with some pointing to budget cuts and safety compromises as contributing factors. In early 2022, Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter, along with the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who had been responsible for overseeing the firearms. The assistant director, David Halls, who handed the gun to Baldwin, also faced legal scrutiny for his role in the chain of custody. This sparked a wave of lawsuits and claims from various crew members, many of whom cited unsafe working conditions, a lack of oversight, and an overworked production crew as factors leading to the tragedy. Alec Baldwin pleaded not guilty to the charge of involuntary manslaughter, maintaining that he never pulled the trigger and had no reason to believe the gun contained live ammunition. His defense team pointed to systemic failures on set and argued that Baldwin had relied on the professionals whose job it was to ensure the safety of the prop guns. Legal experts weighed in, noting that the charge of involuntary manslaughter would require proving that Baldwin acted recklessly or negligently in his handling of the firearm. Given his reliance on the crew to verify the safety of the gun, many believed that Baldwin's legal team had a strong defense, though the case remained under investigation. The family of Helena Hutchins filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Alec Baldwin, the film's production companies, and other key crew members. This lawsuit aimed to hold those responsible for Hutchins' death accountable and to bring awareness to the dangers of inadequate safety protocols on film sets. Additionally, other crew members also filed lawsuits, citing emotional trauma and unsafe working conditions on the Rush set. Some crew members claimed that there had been a pattern of cost-cutting measures that compromised safety, and many pointed to the handling of firearms as a particularly troubling area. The public reaction to the incident was a mix of shock, grief, and anger. Many in the film industry expressed outrage over the lack of safety protocols and demanded stricter regulations regarding the use of firearms on set. Celebrities, directors, and producers weighed in on the tragedy, calling for changes to ensure that such an incident could never happen again. The incident also reignited the debate over whether real firearms should be used in film production at all. Some industry professionals called for a complete ban on the use of live firearms, advocating instead for the use of prop guns with CGI enhancements to simulate gunfire. Others argued that stricter safety regulations and more experienced armorers would be sufficient to prevent future tragedies. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, Alec Baldwin's public image took a significant hit. Despite his long and successful career in Hollywood, many questioned whether Baldwin could recover professionally from such a devastating event. Some industry insiders speculated that his involvement in the Rust incident could make him less desirable for future roles, especially given the legal complications surrounding the case. Baldwin, however, remained adamant about his innocence, giving several interviews in which he expressed deep remorse for Sh00ting's death, while maintaining that he had not been responsible for the fatal shot. His public statements were met with mixed reactions, with some sympathizing with his plight and others criticizing his refusal to accept responsibility for the accident. Throughout the legal proceedings, Hilaria Baldwin remained by Alec's side, offering emotional and public support. She often accompanied him to court and stood by him during press appearances. Hilaria used her platform to express her confidence in her husband's innocence and shared the emotional toll the legal battles had taken on their family. Hilaria was vocal about the strain the situation had put on their personal lives, especially as the couple continued to raise their 6 young children. The Baldwins' unity in the face of adversity was widely covered in the media, with many outlets focusing on Hilaria's role as a supportive spouse, the media's portrayal of Alec and Hilaria. When news of the Rust shooting broke, media outlets worldwide covered the incident extensively. Alec Baldwin, as both the actor involved and the producer of the film, became the central figure in the headlines. Early reports speculated about how a live round could have been fired from a prop gun, leading to widespread debate over safety protocols on film sets. Baldwin's emotional devastation was widely reported, with some media outlets emphasizing his public statements and sorrow for the Sh00tings family. The media also scrutinized Baldwin's role as a producer, questioning whether cost-cutting measures on the set contributed to the tragedy. This angle sparked debates about the responsibilities of producers in ensuring on-set safety, particularly in low-budget productions like Rust. Baldwin's interviews following the incident were intensely analyzed, with some outlets highlighting his claim that he didn't pull the trigger, which became a controversial talking point. While Alec Baldwin was at the center of the media storm, Hilaria Baldwin was also drawn into the spotlight. Hilaria Baldwin's role after the incident. As Alec Baldwin became embroiled in the legal aftermath of the Rust shooting, Hilaria Baldwin took on a critical emotional support role. While Alec faced immense scrutiny from the public and legal system, Hilaria remained by his side, helping him navigate the intense emotional fallout of the tragedy. She acted as his confidant and primary emotional anchor, offering stability in a time of chaos. Hilaria's background in mindfulness and wellness came into play as she helped Alec cope with the stress and anxiety brought on by the incident. The couple worked together to maintain mental and emotional balance, often retreating into their family life to escape the relentless media attention. Hilaria used techniques she had learned from her yoga practice, emphasizing the importance of meditation, self-care, and emotional resilience in the face of trauma. Despite her efforts to support Alec, Hilaria faced criticism from the public and the media. Some accused her of using social media to manage the narrative surrounding the incident, posting images of her family and updates about her personal life that some saw as distracting from the severity of the event. However, Hilaria continued to share her experiences, defending her family's need to maintain some semblance of normalcy in the midst of a highly public legal battle. She also addressed the misconceptions and misrepresentations in the media, insisting that her family's focus was on healing and finding a way forward. Hilaria's openness about the emotional toll the incident had taken on her family resonated with many of her followers, who appreciated her honesty and vulnerability during such a challenging time. Hilaria was a consistent presence by Alec's side during the legal proceedings. She attended court hearings and remained active in supporting his defense, both privately and publicly. Her unwavering support for Alec highlighted the strength of their relationship and the commitment they had to one another during the darkest periods of their lives. Hilaria's role as a mother and advocate. As the mother of 6 young children, Hilaria Baldwin was tasked with maintaining a sense of stability and security for her family during the highly publicized Rust incident and the subsequent legal battles. She focused on creating a safe, nurturing environment for her children, shielding them from the intense media scrutiny that surrounded the family. Hilaria emphasized the importance of routine and normalcy for her kids, despite the constant public attention. Throughout the ordeal, Hilaria juggled the demands of motherhood with the pressures of supporting Alec and managing her own public persona. She often shared moments from her family life on social media, providing a glimpse into how the Baldwin family continued to function despite the ongoing legal crisis. These posts were an effort to maintain a connection with her followers while protecting the emotional well-being of her children. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Hilaria also became an advocate for increased safety measures in film production, using her platform to raise awareness about the importance of proper protocols on set. She called for greater accountability and the need for more stringent regulations to prevent accidents like the one that occurred on the set of Rust. Hilaria's advocacy extended beyond the immediate crisis, as she began to focus on larger systemic issues within the film industry. She used her voice to push for change, speaking out in interviews and on social media about the need for better safety standards. Her efforts aimed to ensure that no other family would have to endure the pain and loss that the Hutchins family experienced, while also highlighting the emotional toll the incident had taken on her own family. Hilaria's role as a mother and advocate became intertwined with her public persona as she continued to engage with her followers and supporters during the crisis. Despite the challenges, she maintained her commitment to mindfulness, wellness, and advocacy, using her platform to promote healing and resilience. Through her advocacy and her role as a mother, Hilaria demonstrated her ability to balance personal grief with public responsibility, becoming a powerful figure in the conversation around safety in Hollywood.